So, in 1940, things like this started springing up in the local shops in the United Kingdom. On the back of the romanticism of the Spitfire aircraft, the Spitfire Fund was set up. Not a hurricane fund, not a Warfighter fund, but the Spitfire Fund, because of the romanticism of the Spitfire. This was part of a World War II National Savings Movement themed campaign in order to make the public feel that they were raising money towards a good cause for the war effort. Originated in 1940 as a result of publicity generated by the Ministry of Aircraft Production, unrealistic prices of a Spitfire stripped into individual components was published, from a penny for a rivet to £1,000 for a wing, to give the belief that everyone could contribute to the purchase of an aircraft, and local funds were set up to, in inverted commas, buy them. In 1940, the Spitfire was the in-aircraft, and an unrealistic price of £5,000 was set for a complete aircraft. So, for example, when these popped up in the shops to support your local fighter plane fund, a company could donate £1,000. A company could donate £1,000 to buy a complete wing, or a kid could donate a penny, and a penny would buy a rivet. So, unrealistically, in 1940, those 3 pennies are 3 rivets for a Spitfire. So they would donate them and believe that the money was going to buy a Spitfire. Now, once bought, a name of the town was stenciled to the aircraft. Now, for example, some counties raised a lot of money and bought quite a few aircraft. The county of Kent, for example, bought 22 Spitfires with the £108,000 that was collected. Now, the Spitfire Fund ran from 1940 to 1941. In total, it raised £13 million, which in today's money is £650 million. Allegedly, that money built 1,500 Spitfires. But the Spitfire Fund did not build a single aircraft. When a town or a county raised enough money to buy a Spitfire, all they got was their name stenciled to an already existing aircraft. The Spitfire Fund did not build one single airplane. All of the money raised by the Spitfire Fund went straight to the British government to pay for the war effort. So the Spitfire Fund was a bit of a con. Now, in the same year the Spitfire Fund comes around, we lost masses of material at Dunkirk, and all of those things had to be paid for. So it seems likely all these years later that quite a lot of the money went to pay for the material lost at Dunkirk. The rest of the money probably lined the British government's pockets to pay for the war effort so far, because not a single penny built a single Spitfire aircraft. In addition to this, dinky toys also contributed to the war effort. The whole of the cash received would go to the fund, and I think they sold these for twopence each. The Dinky Meccano Spitfire Fund Spitfire, which was it was an already pre-existing dinky toy of the time, and some of them would have a hole drilled through the tail section where you could suspend a little a ring, and you could wear it as a necklace brooch to show that you were helping the war effort, the Spitfire Fund. But, as I've said, not a single penny raised by the Spitfire Fund actually bought any Spitfires. So it was a bit of a con that most of the money went straight to the British government to pay for the war effort. So that is the great British con that was the Spitfire Fund. And like I say, things like these would pop up all over the place in order for you to contribute, your pennies. When you went to the shop and got some change, you would just put your change in the box. So yeah, That was a lot of rivets there that didn't actually exist. So the Spitfire fun, the fun that was, but never actually was.